What if the strongest man alive was destroyed by one secret? What if a man chosen by God before birth became a prisoner because of love? This is the terrifying and tragic story of Samson, a man with supernatural strength, a warrior feared by nations, and a judge of Israel, whose greatest enemy was not an army, it was his own weakness. Tonight, we go back to ancient Israel, to the beginning of a story filled with angels, lions, betrayal, revenge, and one final act that shook an entire nation. This is the story of Samson. At that time, Israel was suffering for 40 long years. The Philistines ruled over them with cruelty. Fear filled the land. Villages were attacked. Families lived under oppression, and many Israelites began losing hope. But in a small town called Zorah, something extraordinary was about to happen. A man named Manoah lived there with his wife. They had no children. Year after year they prayed. Year after year, silence, until one day, heaven answered. One quiet afternoon, Manoah's wife was alone. The wind suddenly became still, birds stopped singing, and then a mysterious figure appeared before her. His presence was overwhelming. His face shined with authority. She knew instantly. This was no ordinary man. The angel spoke. You are barren and have no children, but you will become pregnant and give birth to a son. Her heart pounded. The angel continued. The child must never drink wine. No razor shall touch his head, because the boy will be dedicated to God from birth, and he will begin to save Israel from the Philistines. The woman ran to tell her husband. Her voice trembled. A man of God appeared to me. He looked like an angel. Manoah was stunned. Could this really be true? So he prayed, Lord, please let the man come back and teach us what to do with the child. And God listened. The angel returned. This time, Manoah saw him too. The couple prepared food to honor the visitor, but the angel refused to eat. Instead, he told them to offer it to God. As the flames rose from the altar, something unbelievable happened. The angel ascended into heaven through the fire. Manoah fell face down in terror. We are going to die, he cried. We have seen God. But his wife answered wisely, if God wanted us dead, he would not have promised us a son. Soon after, the miracle happened. The woman gave birth to a baby boy. They named him Samson. And as he grew, the Spirit of God began moving powerfully within him. No one knew yet what this child would become, but destiny was already calling his name. Years passed. Samson became incredibly strong. His body was powerful, his confidence unmatched. But there was something dangerous growing inside him, desire. One day, Samson traveled to the Philistine town of Timnah, and there he saw a woman, beautiful, mysterious, a Philistine, the enemies of Israel. When Samson returned home, he shocked his parents. I have seen a woman in Timnah. Get her for me as my wife. His parents were horrified. Is there no woman among your own people? But Samson refused to listen. His eyes had already chosen. As Samson traveled again toward Timnah, something terrifying happened from the vineyards nearby. A young lion suddenly charged toward him. Its roar shook the air. Its claws tore through the dust. But Samson did not run. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him. With his bare hands, Samson grabbed the lion and tore it apart. As if it were nothing, he told no one. The secret of his strength remained hidden. Days later, Samson passed by the lion's dead body, and inside the carcass, something strange had happened. A swarm of bees had made honey. There, Samson scooped out the honey with his hands. He ate some, then gave some to his parents, but He never told them where it came from. The secret would soon become part of a dangerous game. The wedding feast began. Music filled the air. Wine flowed freely. 30 Philistine men surrounded Samson, but Samson had something on his mind, a riddle. He stood before the crowd and smiled. Out of the eater came something too. Out of the strong came something sweet. The men stared in confusion. Samson made a challenge. If you solve the riddle in 7 days, I will give you 30 garments, but if you fail, you must give me 30 garments. The men accepted at first, but as the days passed, fear grew. They could not solve it. On the 7th day, the Philistine men became desperate, so they threatened Samson's wife. Get the answer from him or we will burn your family alive. Terrified, she wept before Samson day after day. You do not really love me, she cried. At last Samson gave in. He told her the answer, and immediately she told the Philistines. Before sunset, the men approached Samson. What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? Samson froze. Rage exploded inside him. You would not have solved my riddle if you had not used my wife. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson again. He traveled to Ashkelon, and there he struck down 30 Philistine men. He took their clothing and paid his debt. Then he stormed away in fury. But the betrayal was not over. While Samson was gone, his wife was given to another man. When Samson discovered what had happened, his anger became uncontrollable. He captured 300 foxes, tied their tails together in pairs, attached burning torches to them, then released them into the Philistine fields. Flames spread everywhere. Wheat fields burned, olive groves burned, vineyards burned. The Philistines screamed in horror. The Philistines demanded answers. Who did this? When they learned it was Samson, they struck back brutally. They burned Samson's wife and her father alive. The violence only grew worse, and Samson swore revenge again. Samson attacked the Philistines fiercely, one battle after another. The enemy feared his name. Soon, thousands of Philistine soldiers marched to capture him. The Israelites became afraid. 3,000 men from Judah went to Samson. We must hand you over, they said. Samson allowed them to tie him with ropes, and they delivered him to the enemy. The Philistines shouted with victory, but suddenly, the Spirit of God rushed upon Samson. The ropes snapped like burned thread nearby. Samson found the jawbone of a donkey. He grabbed it and charged. 1,000 men fell before him. After the battle, Samson collapsed from thirst. His lips cracked, his body weakened. For the first time in a long time, the mighty warrior felt helpless. He cried out to God, "You gave me this victory. Will I now die of thirst?" Then God split open the ground. Water burst forth. Samson drank and his strength returned. But Samson's weakness toward women continued. One night, he went to Gaza. The Philistines heard he was there. They surrounded the city gates, waiting to kill him at dawn. But Samson woke at midnight. He walked calmly to the massive city gates. Then, with terrifying strength, he ripped the gates from the ground and carried them up a hill. The Philistines watched in fear. No chains could hold this man. Then came the woman who would change everything. Her name was Delilah, beautiful, charming, dangerous. The Philistine rulers secretly approached her. Find the secret of Samson's strength, and we will each give you silver, Delilah agreed. And the trap began. Night after night, Delilah questioned Samson. Tell me the secret of your strength. Samson laughed. At first, If they tie me with 7 fresh bowstrings, I will become weak." So while he slept, Delilah tied him. Philistine soldiers waited nearby. "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." Samson snapped the cords instantly. Delilah pretended to be hurt. "You lied to me again," she asked. Again Samson lied. First ropes, then weaving his hair. Each time, the Philistines waited. Each time, Samson escaped, but Delilah never stopped. Day after day, Delilah pressured him. Her words became relentless. Her voice never stopped until Samson finally broke. "My hair has never been cut," he whispered. "I was dedicated to God from birth. If my head is shaved, my strength will leave me." For the first time, Samson told the truth, and Delilah knew it. That night, Samson fell asleep on Delilah's lap as he slept. A servant entered quietly. A razor touched his hair, one lock, then another, until all 7 locks were gone. Delilah smiled coldly. "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." Samson awoke suddenly. "I will escape as before," he thought, but he did not know. The Lord had left him. For the first time in his life, Samson was powerless. The Philistines seized him, beat him, and gouged out his eyes. The mighty warrior screamed in agony. Then, they chained him in bronze shackles and forced him to grind grain like an animal in prison. Days turned into months. The once mighty Samson sat in darkness, blind, broken, humiliated. The Philistines mocked him endlessly, but slowly, something began happening. His hair started growing again, and deep inside the prison, Samson began praying. One day, the Philistines gathered for a massive celebration. They praised their false god Dagon. "Our God has defeated Samson." They shouted. The temple overflowed with people. Thousands crowded the roof. Music echoed through the building. Then someone said, "Bring out Samson, let him entertain us." The blind warrior was led into the temple. The crowd laughed, mocked, and pointed at him, but Samson remained silent. A young servant guided Samson forward. "Place my hands on the pillars that support the temple," Samson said quietly. The servant obeyed. Samson stood between the massive pillars. Then, for the final time, he prayed, "Sovereign Lord, remember me, please strengthen me just once more." The air became still. The crowd continued, laughing. They had no idea what was about to happen. Samson planted his feet firmly. His muscles tightened. Then, with one final cry, he pushed. The pillars trembled. Stone cracked. Dust exploded into the air. The temple began collapsing. People screamed. The roof shattered. Massive stones crashed downward. And in one terrifying moment, the mighty temple fell. Samson died there, but so did the rulers of the Philistines. In his death, Samson defeated more enemies than he had during his life, and so ended the story of Samson, a man chosen before birth, a warrior blessed with supernatural power, a judge of Israel. Yet despite all his strength, he could not conquer his own desires. His life became a warning that even the strongest person can fall. But Samson's final prayer also reminds us of something powerful, that even after failure, God can still hear a broken heart, and sometimes, one final moment of faith can change everything. If you enjoyed this Bible story, subscribe for more cinematic stories from Scripture, and tell us in the comments, what lesson do you think Samson's life teaches us today? Until next time, may God bless you.